We need a medic over there. Oh, we need some water. We have somebody down. We need some water. Medic. We need a medic right here. You got somebody here? Got him? All right, we got a medic on the way. Thank you for caring for your neighbors. Thank you for showing what Michigan does.
Do we need some help over there? We need a medic over there, please. There should be medics in each corner.
They were like maybe 10 plus people who like had to call for a medic because it was in a hangar and there was only like one entrance for the like president to enter, but there were no other exits or entrances, so like they had to keep calling for medics to like disperse the crowd to get inside because people kept like falling over because it was a hot day as well of standing. And just saying, it was all old people, so I don't know, it was that part was crazy because I was just like, is this still being televised? And yes, it was, of just like them being at a rally, and you can literally see clips of Tim Walz and Kamala, and I think even Whitmer, like oh, medic, somebody help. So that was even severe, I think, than anything in the whole experience. I'm young. I was in elementary school when Obama got elected, still literally like remember that. And what, this past couple months and US politics has literally just been crazy. And as I said, I've wanted to get into politics for a while, and I figured what better way to start taking a walk, might be out of breath, than to talk about what apparently has been the biggest rally yet. I've heard reports of 50,000. I was there, I don't think it was 50,000. I've heard other reports of 15,000, which I think is much more reasonable. So I essentially just want to do a video kind of outlining what my experience was for maybe people who have not been to a rally and maybe would want to, or just people who are curious, and I'll give some thoughts after. So without further ado, on this beautiful walk, and try not to get a breath, let's get started. So I don't know how other rallies are. This is indeed my first one. So just like preliminary stuff for a preface, I don't know how things are, but it was crazy. I had heard that there was going to be a Detroit rally, or that after Harris announced her VP, that she was going to essentially do like a blitz of just non-stop rallies, and that she was going to make a stop in Detroit following her support of the UAW. So I knew it was going to be in Detroit. There was no indication as to like where it was going to be, and I was just like, I don't even know if this is even happening anymore. I remember telling my mom, I'm like, I wanted to go, but I don't think they're gonna announce it like last minute. And then I was even thinking, was seeing on Reddit that it makes sense for them to announce it last minute for security purposes. So I just like waited and waited. Of course, Monday she did not announce her VP yet, and then on Tuesday she did finally announce her VP, and then that was when they had sent out emails, which I went to my spam folder again, was looking all over Reddit and stuff to try and figure out what happened. That's like where the specific location was, and it was a thing where it gave us parking options because entry to the rally is obviously free and paid for. However, you had to find parking, and then I would be shuttled to the event. The rally was set to be, I think, like, the event thing said like 5 to 9 p.m. I'm gonna stand here for a bit, getting tired. Was set for like 9 to 5 p.m. and it told us to arrive as early as 2:30. So on the way there, because it was at the Detroit airport, like the whole area around the airport was like so much traffic. Even like on the way there, it was a lot of traffic. And at that point I was like, am I even gonna find parking? Because then I couldn't like park somewhere else because then traffic. And I hate to be the one person who like just happened to like get back in Detroit like the day or on that Wednesday and was like, what is going on here? Because it was horrible. I think you really see people's psychology when it comes to parking, because people were trying to like swerve in and out of cars. It was chaos before and after the event, but we're still talking about just before the event. So I did end up finding a spot. I called on the way to like confirm my parking because honestly on the way there I was just like, probably not gonna happen. All this traffic. I'm just like, guess I won't be able to see them. Oh well. But no, everything kind of ended up working out pretty good. I'm losing my train of thought. So then, when I arrived to the actual parking place, I got like shuttled from the back of like where I parked to the front, and I had to take another bus after my identity was confirmed to the actual event. And I thought this part was pretty smooth. It felt like a concert, but with like more security. And I was glad I didn't have to like walk all that way or wait in like a gigantic line, because there wasn't really any much like waiting except for like waiting in my car. So then, yeah. And the vibes of the event were cool when I had got there, because it was like about 3 o'clock, I think. Or, no, well, it was like 4 o'clock. When I got to the event, things were pretty good. They were handing out like free water and like signs to hold up. And I would say that the vibes are pretty good. Again, I don't know what vibes there are, but I really feel like at like a Trump rally, it wouldn't be like that. Or like even the music they were playing, I'm like, felt like it was pretty like old Democrat-y vibe, like kind of, I don't know, and just like leaned also towards like millennial and Gen Z kind of music, where I don't know, at like a Trump rally if they play like rock music or even that, I don't know what kind of offensive music they would be playing or what kind of music that they would be playing to like signal Republican, but this felt very like liberal music, so it did kind of help the vibes. They had like announcers kind of like pumping up the crowd kind of. And if you see of any I don't even know how you can see from the clips, but it was essentially like in a hangar at the airport, and they had like a whole portion crossed out of like where we could kind of stand. It really felt like it was like a concert again with like just more security. And then I had heard that the event was going to start, or that Terrace was going to start speaking at 7 p.m. Mind you, it is 4 p.m. So standing up, and I was like, well, maybe it's going to be in like a different time zone, and I'll be in the future. That was not the case. I was not in the future. I had to wait. They had a lot of speakers, a lot of untelevised ones, which I actually thought was really cool, because I have experience canvassing at an environmental nonprofit. So I've canvassed for specific senators and representatives, and I got to see them, which I thought was cool. And they were the speakers, honestly. And I think this one was televised. They had the UAW president speak, and then they had Governor Gretchen speak, which was really awesome, like hearing her. And they were kind of pumping to the crowd. One thing that was pretty funny that happened, because everybody was like saying, because I was around everybody, and we were just standing like forever, so long that, a side note, you could see this if you see clips. I might even show clips, but like they were like maybe 10 plus people who like had to call for a medic because it was in a hangar and there was only like one entrance for the like president to enter, but there were no other exits or entrances, so like they had to keep calling for medics to like disperse the crowd to get inside, because people kept like falling over, because it was a hot day as well of standing. And just saying, it was all old people, so I don't know, it was that part was crazy, because I was just like, is this still being televised? And yes, it was, of just like them being at a rally, and you can literally see clips of Tim Walz and Kamala, and I think even Whitmer, like, oh, medic, somebody help. So that was even surreal, I think, than anything in the whole experience. Was just seeing that they are actually real people. And one thing that I also wanted to express is that in a rally, the audio is obviously like different than what you see on TV. On TV, you really only hear them speaking, but at a rally, you really hear like everybody, and that's kind of why they were like edit, because like being in the crowd, people were like pointing at like where a medic was needed. So I assume as speakers, they were very distracted. So I thought that was crazy, and now I lost my train of thought. So what was even happening? Oh yeah, it was right before Harris spoke. Yeah, it was right before Wall spoke. They had a kid, albeit really adorable. And I think said it was in high school. This is gonna be like his first election or something. And I think he said he was like 18, and like I felt like just an aura of like what is going on, because they also just introduced him. I don't remember what his name was. They just introduced his name, so people were like, who is this person? Because they introduced everybody else as, this is the governor of Michigan, Whitmer, or this was the U.S. Or they introduced people as their also title. So they didn't introduce this kid as obviously a title. So we were like, who is this person? And then no, it was adorable. It was just crazy because at that time there was a, I even think he had to call for like a medic or something. And then finally Walz came out first. I would say one thing about the rally that I was not expecting is that since it is like back to back, one thing I also did not understand, or I didn't know at the time, is that the Detroit rally was obviously in the evening, but they had done a different rally in Wisconsin earlier that day. So she literally like flew in to attend the Detroit rally. So I said all that to say is they tend to say like the same things that you've heard on TV. So that was not particularly interesting or like particularly crazy. But I would even say like it was just still a fun experience seeing them in like real life. I guess it's almost like at a concert where you obviously know these people are real people. But actually seeing them is like, that's pretty cool. I would say it gives almost a different perspective to politics, because like, at least in my perspective of the rally, it's like I knew it was like propaganda, that I'm like, they're obviously trying to hype people up. That, I mean, even just in anything on a campaign trail, they're gonna say things, make promises that they're really not gonna keep, but that doesn't like curb the excitement. I feel like I was still as excited to be like, yeah, this is like a fun experience, while like knowing that like a lot of the stuff that they might be saying is just to like hype up a crowd and just to like work a crowd than anything else. I would still say it was a really fun experience, and it is really surreal too that both of them, well, I would say more particular Walz just comes off as like a normal person. I would say the strong suit about Harris is that she comes off as just likable. I know conservatives. I know conservatives and Republicans are trying to make her out to be like witch with her evil laugh and everything else, but I think her smiling and whatnot makes her seem like more like a real person, just like how Obama's charisma really made him seem like I don't know, his charisma just transcended everything, where he really seemed like a very down-to-earth person despite being very much a politician. She kind of just comes off more as just like a likable and pleasant person to be around, which I think is really good, because I cannot imagine going to like a Trump rally and just hearing him like complain and being like, the Democrats, it's so unfair. Like, it was just not that type of energy. It was pretty much all hype, and when they did have attacks, it's pretty much everything you've seen on TV, where it's like, these people are weird, which sure you probably heard from everybody else. I love that insult or critique or whatever you could call it, because it really eats at the idea that the Republicans are the status quo. It really kind of makes them seem like they are weird. I love Tim Walz's attack of, or kind of the stuff he stands for, of just like they want to have the freedom to invade your exam room. And I think that is very just, I love that. I love the energy of the campaign, and kind of they are at this point in the campaign trail really trying to build hype, and the issues that they're kind of presenting that I think that they're going to focus on is going to be like the reproductive freedoms and not being crazy against trans people. And one thing I love that I've heard about Kamala a lot and was reinforced by this rally too was just that It was just that she keeps saying that she is fighting for the freedoms of everybody, like not just for some, but for all. And I love that because that feels like it's an attack and also something that she stands for. And I think especially at this point in the campaign, and even like what I expect from a rally is to be hyped up. Probably I expect in different contexts for her to actually go into what she's gonna do, because I know like we're all curious on that tree just like moved. But but no, I lost my train of thought because of the tree. But yeah, I know that she'll probably get into more specific policies later, and I want that to be, I guess, reserved for interviews, because she has been really good at doing these rallies. However, when it comes to like the one-on-one interviews as vice president, she was really not too good, like at all. So I'm curious about what she's specifically going to do, since she hasn't. It's just strange because this campaign has been like is campaigning, but she didn't have to have a primary where she had to create a platform. There isn't even a platform created yet. So it's like this experience was just so interesting because again, it's like she had to have like, again, like she is doing rallies, but she hasn't had to have a primary or have a platform yet, so she's not like campaigning, or she's not campaigning on specific on a platform. She's kind of just like starting her campaign just off strong, which I think is crazy. And obviously neither of them seem to be particularly pro-Palestine. And even about that, let's go let's go into that. So if there's anything that people should know from the Detroit rally that you'll probably hear on TV, is that Harris made a oopsie daisy controversy with when I was at the rally I didn't hear it, but I would go to other news sources. At some point when she was speaking, there were pro-Palestine, or presumably pro-Palestine, to my understanding, protesters who were chanting, "Kamala, Kamala, you can't hide, stop the genocide." So they over and over again, I think in clips you can see that. And don't know if she didn't hear it or whatever else. But I don't even remember her specific responses. At first, she was like, "Excuse me, I'm talking." And then another time she was like, if you want to vote for Trump, just say it, otherwise I'm talking. And that is the point of contention. That's the point of the contention for me, because that doesn't even make sense. If they're pro-Palestine, why would they necessarily be for Trump when it's been well established that it is particularly liberals who are more inclined to be pro-Palestine? But like, the crowd loved it, like loved her responses, and I also like fell with the energy too. But now knowing that it was actually like what they were chanting and that was her response, not too great. I really don't think it's gonna hurt the campaign really at all. I think, because I don't know Fox News, I don't even know how they're trying to spin it. And then I think it's gonna be like an online left kind of thing. And then what really is going to tank the campaign is when we know it's gonna happen. She's gonna have an interview and she's gonna have to be like, I don't blah 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 blah. Either that, or she's gonna in one sentence call for a ceasefire and then be like, well, blah blah blah. So it's just not looking too good really on that front. And this was like, I think, the first indication. I think it was a small one, being at the rally, seeing that everybody liked that response. I think it's gonna be kind of like a small indication broadly, and then online left are gonna be like, not good. And even she really should have responded in a different way, but that was the biggest thing out of the rally, I would say. There's also an airplane. I don't know how loud that is. No, we're so long into it. I don't even know. We're so long into this video already. I don't even know how I'm gonna split this up. But the funniest part about the campaign, or the funniest part about going to the rally, was the experience afterward. So, as I said, it was organized to get into the rally, presumably security. However, I was hearing people say this, when it came to leaving the rally, they didn't have to worry about security. So they just said, okay, you're free to leave. And there was a road that we had to get on the buses to go back to our spots. They wrote and informed us of the letter that we had to tell the bus drivers to go back, and it was chaos. Like, pretty sure it was 15,000. Imagine 15,000 people leaving a rally and going on one street. It was like one street, and then it was like another that had like a 7-Eleven and something else on it. It was chaos. And it was funny, like, this, I guess, being what juxtaposed with the rally where, like, you know, we're all hyped for Kamala, who's ultra supportive of various communities, to then be like, people were going crazy. At one point, one thing I saw, my phone died, so I was not able to take a video, nor I don't even know if I like would have. That might have just been disrespectful. But she like literally stopped or she like went on put her hand up to stop it and asked like what letter that bus was to get on. I don't even know how to like describe this in a way. It was just, imagine like an older lady standing in front of a road, a tiny person, because a bus is big, people are down here, just going up and stopping a bus and be like, stop, what letter are you? It was wild. So I honestly thought I was gonna get stranded. I thought I was gonna get stranded because, again, my phone had died and I didn't even know when I was gonna leave. I was getting hungry and angry. My legs were hurting after the whole day. So I went to 7-Eleven to get snacks and a drink, and then I was just wandering around trying to, like, literally, I had to eavesdrop to hear like what people were talking about to figure out just a bus that I could go on. I heard somebody say like Y, which was my bus, and then I like went up to a bus driver and I was like, oh my gosh, are you like Y? And he was like, yep. And I was like, oh my. It was so crazy that like when we had like left and turned around and we were heading home, people were just clapping on the bus to get home. Like, I know not all rallies are like that, because I mean logically they can't all be. This was chaos. They could have closed the road. They could have done so many things to help traffic. That they could have had something more organized and had people like trying to do things. I've heard some rallies will close roads and close streets, like actual people who like are orchestrating the exit. So that was crazy. I was probably there. I got to the event, or I entered the parking spot, I think at like 3:15. I ended up leaving at like 10:30. So it was like a whole day event for this thing. Yeah, I don't even know what else to say. So yeah, that was the whole rally experience. I don't think I'm gonna go to another one, unless it's like a smaller space, like if I can sneak in a town hall or something eating, or if it's at like a college or university, like a smaller experience, I might. But I think one experience, and like I've had them all, and that tree is loud. Anyway, so I think I really have had all the experience I need. I would suggest anybody who has not gone to go to at least one. I mean, if you're willing to go to a concert to see a celebrity, you should be willing to stand to see like you're a president, future president, and potential veep, like speak. So I definitely enjoyed it. I am full on excitement for this campaign. Now starting to get into politics. And my leaning is kind of understanding the whole neoliberal process of electoral change. Because if you don't know, politics in the United States is very slow compared to especially places in Europe. And even places in Latin America too. That's something I'm trying to understand and learn. So electoral politics in the States are slow. And I think a lot of these protests or the whole BLM movement was really crucial. But I also think it's very interesting, even if you don't really necessarily agree with the neoliberal process of of slow incremental change. I think it's so interesting to like learn about it. Oh, there's like a log seat. Cool. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do. And this rally was definitely a fun experience. I guess being openly and willing to be propagandized. So I enjoyed it. I suggest everybody should go to at least one rally. Yeah. And yeah, if you're still here, cool. I don't know what I'm gonna be doing with this channel. I have some other video ideas. I just kind of wanted to go on a walk and talk about the Detroit rally, since I guess that was a part of potentially significant history. So cool if Harris and Walz end up being VP. So I might end up doing more videos where I just kind of walk and talk. I'm thinking about doing video essays, since I am, again, a college student, so I want to actually do like more research essays and whatnot. But this was pretty cool. It was cool. And yeah. I also wanted to say, like, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments or whatever, I would also be definitely down to answer them, like about the rally, or anybody who was at previous rallies who wants to share their experience below, definitely. Or if anybody wants to comment about what they think about the Walz and Harris campaign, I'm definitely down, because this whole experience, I think, if anything, is just interesting. So, I mean, I just even love talking about it. I don't even like talk about politics at this point to present like a correct argument. If anything, I'm genuinely just interested in just talking about it and learning about it, because I think the most objective thing someone could say is that things are different from 2020. Definitely from 2016, this is Democratic Party, and even the Republican Party is much different. And then definitely 2008 with like Obama and what. I don't remember when that specific election was, but just around that time, I just think of 2008. But things are like especially different than how the Democratic Party has been before. And I know people can say, oh, you're just young, you just came into the planet, you fetus. I understand that. I understand that, but even still, like, this election and just times right now are, like, objectively interesting. So, like, whatever you have to say, I think things are, like, objectively interesting right now. And that's kind of the vibe I have. It's just things are interesting. Kind of the things that I'm focused on learning have been mostly focused on like race related stuff, things with labor and education. As I said, I'm also a college student, but I'm also working as a substitute teacher, so I'm getting a lot of teaching experience too, and just having kind of now an inside view of the education system. So things are very interesting. Like, comment, and subscribe below. Subscribe and comment below. Yeah.